Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to cover why most people should not start a startup. Let's get into it. Alrighty, guys, before I get into this, I'm going to start us off with a quote from one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Peter Thiel. The next Bill Gates will not start an operating system. The next Larry Page won't start a search engine. The next Mark Zuckerberg won't start a social network company. And if you're copying these people, you're not learning from them. And so I wanted to start off with that quote, one, because Peter Thiel is a beast, and two, because I believe that we are in peak startup hype. And when I say peak startup hype, I simply mean that everyone and their mother wants to build the next billion-dollar company. So in the early 2000s, when Zuckerberg started Facebook, this turned a lot of heads towards the technology industry. And naturally so. This college student built this billion-dollar company from his dorm room, and this spoke volumes to the power of digital technology. And I'll be honest, his success even influenced me and the first company that I tried to start. If you know anything about me, the first company that I tried to build was, in fact, a social network. And this was inspired by Zuckerberg's success, okay? So my point here is that while Zuckerberg in the early 2000s may have been the catalyst for this whole tech hype cycle that we find ourselves in, we're even deeper into it today because of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has significantly reduced the barrier to entry to the technology industry. Anyone with an ounce of ambition can build a full stack web application. They could learn how to code whatever they like for that matter. And they could get top-notch insights into literally any digital system by posing a question to one of these large language models. The point is, today it's easier than ever to break into the technology industry, and that's exactly what everyone is doing. Everyone is starting a startup. So since everyone now has the ability to start a startup, you have to have some kind of unique advantage in order to actually succeed in this space. And when I say unique advantage, I'm speaking to some kind of data advantage. So perhaps you have access to some kind of proprietary data that you could use to train your AI system on, or you have a distribution advantage, meaning you have a channel of people that you can get to test and use your product, and you don't have to worry about spending a lot on marketing. But if you don't have one of those two advantages, and there are a whole host of other advantages that I could talk about here, those are just two examples. But if you don't have some sort of unique advantage in this space, you are simply dead on arrival. And so that's why I recommend for most people, if they're starting their first company, they should not start a startup unless they have a crazy opportunity before them. So with most startups, the upfront costs are going to be very, very high in terms of time, attention, and capital. And you end up spending a lot of time, money, and energy on something that, statistically speaking, has a low probability of working out for you. I'm not saying don't test your luck. I'm saying bet on ideas or bet on business models that have historically proved out if you're building your first company. If you're starting your first company, I would highly recommend not starting a startup for the reasons that I listed within this video. Perhaps you should start an agency or any other kind of company that would teach you the basics of business, would allow you to generate cash quickly, and would cut down the amount of risk that you're taking on. Alrighty, guys, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, stay tuned. Thank you.